What's going on YouTube? Slight here with another video. Today we're looking back at my broken Winchester safe here that I posted another video on my channel about how my keypad died and I cannot access the safe. Now I just want to go ahead and talk about my experience of their support department and turnaround times and stuff like that. So as you know, the safe died on a Saturday morning and I couldn't get into it at all. Completely unresponsive keypad. So they don't have weekend support. Their support is 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time here in the States. Nearly useless. Only during the weekdays. So I called them up first thing Monday morning, and I'm pretty sure they only have one lady there working support for the entire company, because every time I've called there I've talked to the same lady. What are the odds of that? But she's a real nice lady. Told her what was going on. I got a little mad on the phone because rightfully so. This is the second time I've called in on this unit in a month. So my bad if I got a little mad on the phone with you. But she hooked me up with this new part kit. Said it was going to be about 3 to 5 business days for it to get to my house for replacement parts on this safe. Okay, that's fine. So that was Monday morning. Today is Thursday. I came home and lo and behold, I got my new parts kit. So what you're going to get is you're going to get the base plate, which holds this whole assembly to the front face door of the safe, which I don't care about. You're going to get this motherboard, which appears to be the inside controller for the safe. You have two connectors here, and it looks like the ribbon cable probably plugs into here, and the ribbon cable feeds out of this. And the last item you're going to get is the keypad. Notice I said the last item. No instructions, mind you. So if you don't know what you're doing, shit out of luck. So kind of got to piecemeal this whole thing together. And if you look in the manual when you first buy your safe, it explicitly says, hey, don't tinker around with the lock because you'll void your warranty. So naturally, being a month old, I'm not going to tinker around with my lock because I don't want to void my warranty. But when you send me a parts kit without instructions, I kind of got to tinker with my lock to fix it. So I'll go ahead and explain a couple things that I learned a little bit the hard way. They do not come, or this kit did not come with new screws. These are simply self-tapping screws. So if you should need to take this part off, don't lose your screws because you don't get replacements, first and foremost. And as you can see, the ribbon cable here is fixed permanently to this faceplate. Runs through the door and plugs into your safe. So if you're like me, when you ordered this kit because you can't get into your safe, you're kind of screwed, because there's no way to replace this entire unit, if this is your problem, that is, without having your safe open in the first place. So I'm a natural tinkerer, and I decided to tinker with the ever forbidden faceplate, and I'll give you a close-up here of how this is actually seated. So if you look on this new one, you can see the two tabs on either end of this motherboard that hold it in place. You notice they're cantered at a 45-degree angle. In order to get this motherboard off this faceplate, you have to turn those tabs so that they are parallel with the hole. And I simply did that with a pair of needle nose pliers. Turned them there, made sure they were parallel. Don't put any upward force on the motherboard itself until you get those pins straightened out, you run a risk of damaging the PCB lines and truly making it useless if that is not indeed your problem. Once that thing is straight, it'll come right up, simple like that. Ribbon cable feeds through. That is permanently attached to the existing touchpad. So they are two separate pieces normally. So I was praying to God that this ribbon cable wasn't the actual issue, because if it was, I'm screwed. And I got lucky. This piece, this conductor, this resistor, I don't know what the technical term for it is. I'm not an electrical engineer. But one of the sides came desoldered and is loose on the left hand side over here, and was no longer making contact with the other end on the motherboard. I was able to bend it back in place and heat it up with a little solder gun and permanently reaffix it, and my safe now will open. I'm just lucky that I didn't have a bad ribbon cable or something to that effect, or even a more damaged motherboard, because you can see here this cable is actually permanently affixed to the motherboard. So if the board itself was bad and your cable was fine, you'd have to melt all that hot glue, desolder the ribbon cable, and then resolder it yourself up to the new one that they provide, just to get your safe open, if that indeed was the case, assuming this internal controller wasn't the actual issue. So a lot of variables. I guess you could say I lucked out a little bit on this one. Not really, but I'm into my safe now. That's how you basically rip one of these things down, troubleshoot it, and see what your potential problem child might be. If you guys have any questions on this process, feel free to get a hold of me. I can walk you through it and answer any questions you might have. Thanks for tuning in. You guys have a good day.